Okay, welcome to the latest episode of Horror 101. This is Ryan Acidheads Murphy, Acidheads being my music production name. Go ahead and check out my music, I appreciate it. I did have albums up on Amazon that you could download, that you could buy and download, but the company that I went through to publish those has changed their policies and no longer is publishing MP3 albums and singles, so those all have been taken down by now, I believe. Yay, yay. That's all nice. Now my only option is about $40 a fucking album to get them up on websites for download to sell them. Yay. But that's not really pertinent, is it? I'm sorry, that was off topic. But okay. Actually it wasn't, because the topic of this video is being personal, which is often the most scary thing in the world to people, is getting personal. Perhaps less so in the world of social media, where it seems like everything that people do is on display for everybody else 24/7. But even then, people tend to not get personal, really personal, deep down personal. And if you want to do horror fiction, games and movies and TV show type stuff effectively, you have got to get personal. Because if you think that nothing scares you, or you really are the type of person that nothing really scares you that much, then why do you have any pretense to trying to do horror? The whole point of horror is to scare people, and if you don't know what scares you, how do you think you're ever going to be able to scare other people? There's more to it than psychology and knowing about all these different elements that I've been talking about. Okay? Yes, you can do it. Just, listening to what I've been talking about and researching it more yourself, you can do horror to a degree. But if you're trying to design a game and it doesn't scare you, then how can you really be sure it'll ever scare anyone else? You have got to put something of yourself into what you're doing. It has got to kind of creep you out. Which is why the best horror is always going to be stuff where you are making something that scares you. Okay? Topics that scare you. Situations that scare you. If you're not willing to go there, then you're never going to be very good at doing horror. It has to be things, you have to go there. You have to explore your own fears and put that into what you're creating. And that is often the scariest thing to people, is getting that personal and digging down into their own fears and anxieties and issues and putting it out in front of other people, even if they're not aware of it, the other people. I'll go back to H.P. Lovecraft. Things like fish, the disgustingness of fish odors, comes up in a lot of his stories. Why? Because he was allergic to fish, and he hated fish. Cold, damp, nasty things, because he hated the cold. He was a kind of a sickly person. Old people, ancient things. Everything is the old ones. It's these ancient things, because he was afraid of aging and death. Okay? Which I can identify with. Most people can. And he was kind of a racist earlier in life. He kind of grew out of that. He was anti-Semitic. I've said this in another video, but he was anti-Semitic as a younger man, but he ended up marrying a Jewish woman for a while, and they got along just fine when they were together. So he kind of grew out of all that. But he grew up in New England, and he loved the architecture and all the English stuff. Anglophile is what it's called. And he was xenophobic. He was afraid of outsiders. So a lot of his stories involve outsiders, people coming in or things coming in and destroying what's sane and good in the world. He held intelligence and wisdom and education very highly. He held it in high regard. So he was afraid of degeneracy and decadence, which would be inbreeding, rednecks and white trash, that sort of thing. And country bumpkins and mountain hooligans, and I don't think that's even a word, but I don't know what a mountain hooligan is. Mountain man type of stuff. So degeneracy was a huge part of a lot of his stories, because he was afraid of people becoming stupid. And he was afraid of just people who preferred ignorance and stupidity and decadence to wisdom and knowledge and education. So, he was able to dig into his own fears, of which he had many, to write his fiction, which is why his stuff is still held in such high regard, because it was very personal, which made it very real. And you have to do the same sort of thing. You have to find the things that scare you and work that into your stories, or into your games and movies and whatnot. Doesn't mean that everything you do has to be incredibly personal, but it helps tremendously. And again, really, if you're not willing to at least try to dig into your own soul, metaphorically speaking, to find the things that freak you out and use them to freak other people out, you're not really going to do that well with horror in the long run. You're going to find everything you'll do will end up being really cliched. Everything's been done, so there's only ways to put your own spin on something that's already been done, really, in fiction, even in games. But without that personal touch, people will see your product, be it books, movies, games, whatever, as just being cliche. It'll just seem like derivatives of derivatives. You're just ripping other people off and you're not doing your own thing at all. So, you really do need to put some of yourself into your work. It's important. It's very important, I feel, to get personal. And I guess this one was going to just always be a shorter video, because I think that really sums it all up. So let me go ahead and do my end of YouTube video stuff. Thank you very much for watching. Please give me that upvote for the video. I always appreciate that. Leave any questions or comments you might have on the topic of the video, and keep any negativity you have to yourself. Okay? I prefer to try. I like to keep my videos positive, and they're supposed to be for fun and education and entertainment. Keep your negativity to yourself as much as possible. But if you want to have a discussion about something I've said that you disagree with, that's fine. Just don't be an asshole. Which brings me to trolls. I hate trolls, and I will fuck with trolls right back, even worse than them trying to mess with me, because I'm better at it. I just don't get any fun out of it, unlike them, because they're degenerate asshole motherfuckers. Okay? So, troll me at your own risk. More positively, go ahead and subscribe so you know when I put more videos up. You might not be interested in all the stuff I do, but the only way you'll know when I put something new up is to subscribe. So if you haven't yet, please do so. And also, please come and check out my website, acidbathproductions.biz. It's a forum, so you can come there and we can have discussions about different things, like horror fiction and Halloween type of stuff. I have a whole little section of the forum just for this, as well as writing and other things. Music production, variety of stuff that I'm interested in, so you can come there and sign up to the forum and we can have some discussions. And I think that wraps everything up. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your viewership. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.